Who joins us on the FanDuel hotline. The NFL regular season may have wrapped up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays. You can find bets in the new Explore tab. You can make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, which is the best and most popular way to find parlays, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. And let's welcome Mary Kay to the show. What's up, Mary Kay?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Mary Kay? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Yeah.
Thawing out from that miserable loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm hiding the Christmas tree behind me, so I promised that
Well, this week we
I
expect it to come
promised
down.
I would have it down.
Well, now you have time, Mary Kay. Now you have a little bit of time.
Now I've got all the time in the world to get the
Mary
Christmas
Kay, how
tree
did
down.
that happen?
I first of all, I think we have to give C.J. Stroud a bunch of credit. He is a really, really good quarterback. And the Browns have not faced a ton of really good quarterbacks this season. Let's be honest about that. People don't want to think about that or look at that, but it's the truth. They really did not face a ton of great quarterbacks this season. When they ran into a really good quarterback play caller combo, they didn't always fare that well. I maintain that Lamar Jackson was the only really good elite quarterback that they beat this season. I mean, I hate to say it,
Well, what
but
about Brock Purdy, though? I mean, Brock Purdy is at
They
the
did
top
beat
of
Burrow.
all
I know
the-
he was banged up, but they beat him too.
Yeah, he wasn't himself, but
Joe Burrow, you guys, Joe Burrow was not himself, okay? He was
not.
coming off of six weeks out of football. He was completely not ready to play football in that game, and it was also a weather game. So that one for me it doesn't go into the battle-tested category.
that's fair, but
then
Brock
you
Purdy is.
Trevor Lawrence.
Then you move on to Brock Purdy. If you take away Deebo Samuel for the entire game, and then you take away Christian McCaffrey in your second half, that's not the Brock Purdy that you're going to see in the rest of these playoffs. That is not
That's
Brock
fair.
Purdy.
That's fair.
Okay.
He still had
So
some weapons.
The only elite quarterback that they beat this season was Lamar Jackson. And when they ran into another one in C.J. Stroud in the playoffs, they did not handle it well. And I think they thought they were the #1 defense in the NFL, and they're going to have to pick it up a notch next year because they are facing a whole bunch more really good quarterbacks next year.
Mary Kay, when you look at this roster, obviously they got some decisions to make. Defensively wise, do you see any changes being made defensively? Because there's a lot of smoke on social media about Greg Newsome, and I don't know what that's about, but yeah.
He's making a fool of himself on Twitter.
Yeah, I wish he'd get off Twitter.
Well, there are always changes that are made every year, and I have not seen the Greg stuff yet. I just needed to just decompress for a little bit and, just stay off of Twitter and stay off of social media. So today I've been out of the loop a little bit. Yesterday I worked on a defensive analysis on what the heck happened in that game. But I haven't seen the Greg stuff so far. So if you guys can give me the cliff notes on that.
He's just going at fans.
Right.
He's. I think one thing that someone sent me yesterday was he had said, I like to come on here to see how little people know about football.
And then you just fought with fans after that.
Yeah, he's fighting with fans. Just own the fact that you were not good.
Yeah, especially when he said in the press conference he didn't think he played poorly. He did play poorly. And even if he didn't think he played poorly, he should have said, yes, we played poorly, I played poorly.
Yeah.
It's got to be better, I think.
You're not going to get better if you don't admit that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's the heat of the moment still. These guys are still in grieving mode. They feel like they're supposed to be moving on, and they really should be moving on. But, it didn't go the way anybody expected, and sometimes people don't handle that well. You're right. He should probably, like I just said, I've decompressed and I've stayed off of Twitter for a couple hours at least today.
Smart.
And, that might not be the worst idea in the world for everybody associated with that whole thing. It was an emotional season. It was a gut-wrenching season. They were the #1 defense in the NFL. This was not supposed to happen like this. And emotions are running high right now.
Mary Kay, let's do this rapid fire. And I know this is hard. But I'm gonna mention the guys who are free agents, who are expected to be free agents, and just your gut feeling right now. No, you get it wrong, you get it wrong. Who cares? Gut feeling whether you think this guy will be back or is likely to be back or not. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Zadarius Smith.
I'll say yes.
Sione Taki.
Yes.
Anthony Walker Jr.
That one's a tough one because he's going to have to get healthy. So from a leadership standpoint, I'm still going to say yes on him.
Jordan Elliott.
Oh, yeah, they like Jordan. When it's a draft pick, they're going to bring a draft pick like that back, for sure.
Shelby Harris.
Shelby is one of those guys where you can swap him out for someone else, but they really did like him. So he will be under consideration.
Harrison Bryant.
Yeah, once again, Andrew Berry does not part with his draft picks very easily, and I think they felt like Harrison took a step up. So I think they'll find a way to bring him back.
Corey Bojorquez.
Corey had a great season until he got hurt. So, yes.
Maurice Hurst.
Now, and he's another one. He's coming off of a torn pec, so they're going to have to see how he does health-wise. But from a football standpoint, he was a really nice contributor during the season, so they will make an effort to bring him back.
All right, and the final two are the toughest ones. Kareem Hunt.
I would bring back Kareem Hunt for the, inspirational leader, fiery guy thing, and also playoff touchdowns and battering ram on the goal line. But the fact that they had no plans of bringing him back at the beginning of this season kind of means that, he'll probably go out there, he'll test the free agent waters, and if he finds an opportunity, he should take it because there's nothing guaranteed here.
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, let's see. I think there's a chance. Now, I've heard other people say, including your very own Jason Lloyd, say that there's no way in heck you can bring Joe Flacco back to this football team because of the distraction it would present and how horrible that would be for the locker room, trying to transition back to Deshaun Watson and whatnot. But I don't feel that way. I feel like Joe is a true professional. I think Joe and Deshaun could get along just fine. I think you need to have a quarterback like that as your backup. So they've got to bring back either like a Jacoby Brissett or a Joe Flacco. And if Joe doesn't find a starting job out there somewhere, or at least an opportunity to start or compete with someone for a starting job, then I think he would be open to coming back because he had a great experience here.
And I'm going to add one more who's not technically a free agent, but he, his contract things to deal with. Nick Chubb. What's his future? Because we will all lose our minds if Nick Chubb is not here.
Right. Nick Chubb, it will be dependent on his health and when he's ready to come back. So I think what's going to happen with Nick, you never want to let go of a Nick Chubb, and you never want to bet against a Nick Chubb either with what he's done in the past, coming back from a major knee injury. But he's not going to be able to probably make the kind of money that he is, straight up. So I think what they'll have to do is restructure the contract in such a way that it protects the club and the player from, injury, or, if he can earn incentives if he plays, the club doesn't have to pay him multi-millions if he's not ready to get out there right away. So I think that you can do something very creative with his contract and, and try to make that right for everyone. And I know they'll work really hard to do that for Nick Chubb because he's Nick Chubb.
I always think
it's just a matter of, will he accept it or not? Will he want to do something?
I always think a part of these questions is, are you prepared to lose that player to a division rival? And the thought of Nick Chubb being with Joe Burrow, Baltimore, or a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, or with Lamar Jackson, literally, I can feel the vomit creeping up my throat. So I just
and those
you
teams
find a way.
The Bengals are weird about free agency, so you never know, but he would be a perfect fit there.
Oh, my God.
He'd be a perfect fit anywhere. All three of those teams would definitely be interested.
And because it's the North. Yeah. And I just can't imagine seeing him in another team.
No, that can't happen.
Mary Kay, obviously, and I think, if maybe I'm wrong, if I am, tell me. I think this offseason's defensive line from last year is wide receiver. Andrew Berry has got to address that position, and I think it's the biggest area of need. How do they fix it? We just named some of the free agents. We know that their track record of drafting wide receivers is abysmal. It's not even bad. It's abysmal. So what do they do this offseason to fix that position?
Well, you guys probably remember this offseason, I thought that they should have signed DeAndre Hopkins. I thought that Deshaun Watson needed a guy like that, another Pro Bowl caliber, can't miss elite receiver to go along with Amari Cooper. Now, Amari Cooper also has a $24 million cap hit in 2024, $24 million cap hit. So you might want to look at that and see if they can't bring that number down. I'm sure they're going to have to do that, especially with Deshaun right now having a $64 million cap hit. I mean, you've got to trim somewhere. But anyways, yes, I do think that they need to target an elite Pro Bowl caliber receiver, either to pair with Amari, or if you can't work something out from a financial standpoint, then, perhaps that person would replace Amari, which I think would be really unfortunate. Best receiver I've ever covered. He's amazing. I think they've got to do what they can to keep him around. I think you need two guys almost of that level. You need a 1 and you need a 1A that's really, really good if you want to go all the way. And so hopefully that, that will be their strategy, that they will go out and they will find that guy in free agency or a trade.
Mary Kay, my last question. I got to ask you about the offensive line because they've put themselves in such a situation. Obviously, Jack Conklin coming back from injury. Jared Wills was hurt. Then you got DeJuan Jones. Joe Bitonio's 32.
A lot of injuries this year.
How do they move forward? How does this work out? Tell us something, because I know they're stuck with Jack Conklin in their contract that they gave him last year. So what do they do?
Well, they could go to Jack Conklin and talk, contract restructuring with him. That's one thing that they could possibly do, or they could trade someone. But DeJuan showed so much promise that it seems to me that they're really excited to have him be back as their right tackle. And I think they'll keep Jed on the left side. And so I think it would be a matter of just figuring out what they could possibly do with perhaps with Jack. So that's, something to keep an eye on there. And everybody else, I think they're pretty set with. So as long as those guys come back healthy from their injuries, I think they'll still be in really good shape on the offensive line.
Thanks, Mary Kay. We appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mary Kay.
Sure, thanks,
Christmas
guys.
tree. Get that Christmas
Put it
tree
away.
out of there.
Put it away. Got to be gone by
It's cool.
February at least.
Yeah, February is actually the line of demarcation. It has to be down by February.
By the way, last week I went into Walgreens and they